Red Dead Redemption 2 is a truly terrifying game. Today we're going to go over some of the scariest things that have happened in that game. But before we do that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit that bell notification button so you can be told every time I drop a video, which is for long form every day at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So as far as some of the scariest stuff from Red Dead Redemption 2, you got the night folk. Pretty much anything that happens in the swamps of Red Dead Redemption 2 is absolutely terrifying, but the night folk is some of the scariest stuff. Just going through there at night, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden, you just see this scary looking presence behind you come up and just attack you. It's caused a jump scare here and there. Speaking of jump scares, any single time a grizzly bear just happens upon you. I like how you don't really ever kind of see them walking around on their own. You're just kind of minding your own business again, and then all of a sudden the jump scare of a lifetime comes out. There's so many different like paranormal activity type stuff that happens in the game, whether it's full-on ghosts, woods that are whispering and actually talking to you. That part's terrifying, and you can literally experience that during the daytime too, which I think is a bit chilling. There's the ghost train, which is absolutely scary, but some of just like the really weirdest and creepiest vibes I've had from that game come from just basically exploring random buildings and then coming into something that is just absolutely unknown. So one of the examples that I have from that is on my last playthrough, and this is the first time that I'd ever seen this before. I'd never seen this or even heard of this beforehand. I'm going through a couple different buildings and I'm just kind of looking for stuff, and then it looked like this cult meeting type place. It looked like an abandoned church almost, and there's just what looks like pagan type stuff and just really creepy type of ritualistic type of stuff that's going on. And I remember playing that game and just getting this very eerie vibe, and I was like, man, I want to get out of here like immediately. And mind you, this is a video game where there's no consequences if your character gets attacked or anything like that. Worst comes to worst, Arthur Morgan dies and then he respawns somewhere else. But I remember getting like almost this primal type feeling of like, I'm in danger and I need to go. it was creepy, man. There's also the one home, the house where you can get into, and there's like this man bear pig type thing getting strung up in one of the rooms. That's absolutely terrifying. I'm sure some of the game developers maybe were South Park fans or something. At least I'm hoping that was a reference to that. Man bear pig. He's half man bear, half bear pig man. And Arthur was the first one to ever come across, a man bear pig. So maybe Al Gore is related to Arthur Morgan. Who knows? There's other just like weird random happenings in Red Dead Redemption 2 that have just always kind of stuck with me. There's the more commonly known ones are like, the UFO meetings that you can see. So if you haven't seen that part, it's really creepy. During nighttime, you can come to a specific house out and about. I think it's in near Annisburg, I believe. I could be wrong. But it's on this lonely hilltop, and it only happens at a certain time at night. And if you look over, you can see like an alien saucer come flying above and then actually beam down a light toward it. It's very, very weird. There's also the asteroid house, or the meteor house, whatever you want to call it, where very clearly a asteroid just zipped in through the roof and then just killed everybody inside. And it's pretty gruesome when you walk in there. You go inside and there's some remains, and clearly this thing just burst through the roof. Boom. Not a good time for everybody involved. Now, what you get out of that is you can get like a piece of meteor that you can actually sell, and it is pretty pricey as far as what you can get back in return, which is nice. And it's not necessarily the most creepy out of the things that we've talked about right now, but the fact that this is what got me, and I know that this is just basically it's not necessarily something that the devs put in on purpose. I think this is just kind of like a mistake or something to get you to notice it. I was doing a playthrough. I knew of this location already, so I was like, hey, let's go to the meteor house. Let's get that out of the way. And I investigated it during the daytime, and everything was fine, and I left. I'm back in that area during nighttime, and the lights are on. And I was like, what the heck is this, right? So I'm thinking, whoa, maybe there's some more content with this whole entire part of the game, right? So I go into it, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, there was nothing in the house. It was just basically, just a random thing. I think the devs might have messed up on. But I remember going like, who the hell turned on the lights, man? Like, I went in there was nobody left alive. Who went to that house after I did? All right, creepy. And then there's the other big creepy ones is the serial killer. The serial killer, if anybody hasn't stumbled upon this yet, it is truly terrifying, and you can happen upon this very early in the game. So as soon as you go to Valentine, this becomes available to check out. You can go to the bridge by Valentine, and then there is a severed foot that is on a string and a note that I believe is in the head, like a severed head of a random NPC, and it's clues to find the other missing piece. So throughout the map of Red Dead Redemption 2, there's just severed body parts that are sprinkled upon the areas with clues as to the serial killer's whereabouts, which then ultimately leads you back to his lair, which is just basically like this basement out in the middle of nowhere, and you have to square off with the guy who does not have the best social skills, if I could say so. He doesn't really have the best hospitality skills either. Other creepy ones, speaking of, just violent sociopaths that you happen upon, there's the creepy guy in the swamp who apparently is a friend of Bill Williamson. I kind of wanted to follow up with Bill a little bit more, have that conversation of, how did you end up knowing about this man, Bill? What prompted you to be like, this guy is gonna be my friend? Anyway, for those of you guys who don't know about the creepy guy in the swamp area, you can happen upon this house. He's this really, really creepy dude in overalls, and he's just like, hey there, mister. You wanna come on in for some food or a drink or something? And, every normal person in that situation would be like, no. But the thing about video games is that we, the gamer, see an opportunity or a situation, and our natural response is yes, and let's go find out. So we follow the creepy psychopath into his home, avoiding all natural instincts that any human would have. And who knew? He ends up attacking us, and it's implied that some forced loving happens. So if you look into the behind the scenes of that, the random strangers and happenings that you can find in the on the map of Red Dead Redemption 2, both the actor who played John Marston and the actor who played Arthur Morgan, so Rob Wiedoff and Roger Clark, they would both kind of trade off on random stranger missions because you got to be the character, and if you played as John and didn't do some of these stranger missions as Arthur, then they were still available to you as John. So that meant that basically you both John and Arthur could go ahead and stumble upon this type of side mission. So that's why they would trade off with like, okay, I acted for this one, you can act for this one. And Rob Wiedoff is he does this interview where he's very much uncomfortable with what they had to do. He's like, I did not like that scene at all. The character, the guy who was playing that character, did not like it either. It was just an awful time. So that's one of the downsides to acting is you get put into those types of situations. Other scary situations, we're talking about weird, creepy guys that you find out in the middle of nowhere. So we obviously got to talk about the Aberdeen pig farm, which is honestly one of the funniest parts of the game, just on freaking Roger Clark's reaction to when he finds out that they're brother and sister alone. So it's a pig farm where these two very incestual brother and sister, they invite you in for food, and then they knock you out, and they rob you, and then they leave you for dead out in like this grave, which I'm pretty sure the corpse that you're left next to is their mother. So how I always react to it is, as soon as I come to and I've realized that they've robbed me, I take offense to that. So I then get up going kind of like, yeah, okay, you want to get weird? I'm going to make this weird. So then I pick up the corpse that's next to me, and I go walking back into that house with a pistol ready. I blow them apart. I put the corpse back into the bed. I get my stuff, and I get the hell out of there. So I think I need to contact my therapist, and we probably need to open up something else that I've got deep down inside. Moving on to the next terrifying part, there's the Vampire of Saint Denis. There's the guy who's building a robot who ends up turning on him. That one's more sad than scary, to be honest. I've seen some people who have been like very unnerved by that, but I think it's very, very sad, because if you find that robot later on, he's remorseful and wanting his dad to come back, which as I say that's just like that's getting me all gutted, man. It's making me emotional. It's hitting me in the feels. There is the Wolfman who is living in a cave with some wolves, and if you go in there and are like me, you don't really want to blast the guy. You feel bad for him. He was a just a regular dude. You can go and read his journal, and he's just this guy, just an average guy who then just starts to lose his grasp on reality and becomes part of this family of wolves. So these wolves become his family, and then as soon as you're done reading the journal, the guy attacks you. And when I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur Morgan might not believe in revenge. He might think that revenge is a fool's game, but I, the player, do not. So I hogtie the Wolfman, and then I kill his wolf family, and I skin them in front of him as vengeance for him trying to best me. Again, I need to contact the therapist. I feel like at this point we should have her number on speed dial. You guys remember when speed dial was a thing? Of course you guys don't, because you guys are young and full of life and have hopes and dreams ahead of you, and I'm all old and in the way. Yeah, so let me know what your guys' favorite terrifying moment of Red Dead Redemption 2 is. Red Dead Redemption 2, it's such an amazing game. It's full of absolutely terrifying things. It's full of wonderful, funny things and emotional things and sweet things. But man, when it wants to be terrifying, it is terrifying. So let me know your picks for the creepiest stuff that you have happened upon in the map of Red Dead Redemption 2. And who knows, maybe someone hasn't come across the thing that has scared you before, and now you can share that with somebody else, and they can go ahead and replay Red Dead Redemption 2 and get promptly scared. Guys, while you're doing that in the comment section as well, because I'm commanding you guys to do things like a cult leader, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also make sure to hit that bell notification button. I do really appreciate if you guys would do that. That helps me a lot. If you guys want to continue to try and support this channel and help me grow as a content creator, I do have a Patreon. For only $2 each month, you can help this be an actual career. I am trying to do this full time, and Patreon offers a more consistent type of pay. So if you go over there, it's only $2 each month. You can get exclusive stuff like bloopers, content creation tips, replays of lives that I do on my several platforms, and anything else that I can go ahead and think of. So yeah, guys, I appreciate you coming by and watching the video. Thank you very much. And just remember, before we leave, this video is being sponsored by Grifter's Cola. Grifter's Cola. It'll make your eyes bleed. That's not like the worst slogan that I've heard from Grifter's Cola. Although, since that's not the worst, that's probably the bad thing, if I'm being honest. Huh.